welcome everyone into our CitrusTV studios for a special edition of Beat the Bookie. It's the best week for sports betting of the year, the Super Bowl. The biggest game every season is the second most bet on sporting event outside the World Cup. And I mean, just provides some hilarious things to bet on, by the way, whether it's the color of the Gatorade, the length of the national anthem. I won't be betting on any of those, but I'm locked and loaded with my bets. And we'll have a couple guests live from the Super Bowl throughout the show. But before I get to my picks, let's check out how our good friend Gino Antamarino did last week on the show. Gino doing a basketball show followed up Skylar Wilkes' astronomical performance in week 1 with a respectable $5 in the green. Gino went 4-3 on the week, winning his $20 Auburn men's basketball bet, which you can never really go wrong on betting on the Tigers this season, and could have hit big if he nailed the parlay, but it's okay. He's got a couple more appearances on the show left in his career to up his game. But this being said, one of my last times on the show, I'm ready to make some serious dough. Let's start with my best bets for the Super Bowl.
Jerry, you better yell! Show me the money! Show me the money!
My first best bet starts with one that is theoretically a 50-50 chance of happening, the coin toss. Listen to me here and follow me. My dad was a middle school math teacher for 13 years, so trust me, I can do the math right here. The theoretical probability of the coin toss is, of course, 50%. However, doing some research, the experimental probability over the last 58 Super Bowls has tails 30 times and heads 28 times, for a 52% chance of tails. On top of that, anyone who attends Flip Night at Vegas knows tails never fails. And because of that, I have $5 on the opening coin toss to come up as tails. I have been a tails never fails guy my entire life. And combined with that, the experimental math in my favor, I like that for my first best bet on the Super Bowl. For my next bet, I go to the recently named Offensive Player of the Year, Saquon Barkley. I mean, this man has been on another planet this season. Who was shocked, though, once he got an actual offensive line? Saquon having a good year? No shock there. Not only did Saquon Barkley almost set the single-season rushing record in the league with over 2,000 yards, but he was scoring machine. 15 total touchdowns on the season and has scored multiple touchdowns in 7 games this year. 3 of which, by the way, in the last 5 contests. With that said, I'm putting $10 on Saquon to score 2 or more touchdowns on Sunday. Barkley has reached that feat in each of the last 2 games, and if the Eagles want to win Super Bowl 59, they know Barkley has to feast. Feed Saquon. Sticking with the Eagles, though, I shift over to their top receiver, A.J. Brown. I was searching for a best person for an anytime touchdown on for the Super Bowl, but at the right odds. Saquon, Hurts, Mahomes, Kelsey just weren't worth the value, so I settled on A.J. Brown. Brown has been the top target all season for the Eagles. Scored a touchdown in the NFC Championship game versus the Commanders, and if you remember back to the first Eagles-Chiefs Super Bowl 2 years ago, had that long touchdown catch in the left corner of the end zone. I have faith that the Chiefs will at times go single coverage on him to try and stop Saquon load the box a little bit. He'll break free for at least one tutty, and the odds at plus 180, just great value. Give me A.J. Brown anytime touchdown for, as my great friend Braden Reed says, 10 doubloons at plus 180 odds. All right, that's enough Eagles talk for now. We got to go to the Chiefs side of things for this game. Like I said earlier, the Eagles are going to feed Saquon Barkley all game in the rushing attack, which means the linebackers are going to have a big role on this Chiefs defense. With that said, Drew Tranquill, Chiefs linebacker, over 7.5 tackles, seems like free money to me. Even though Tranquill has only had 7 tackles or more 5 times this season, the Notre Dame product had 9 tackles against the Bills in the AFC Championship game. And again, the Eagles are going to run the ball so much that he'll have plenty of chances. Also, hopefully, he racks up a tackle or 2 on the brotherly shove to enhance his total, maybe an assist as well by the end of the day. Plus, to get it at plus 112 odds on any over-under is just nuts value. Thus, I got $10 on Drew Tranquill over 7.5 tackles in the Super Bowl. To the offense, and in previous seasons, the star of the show for the Chiefs through the air, Travis Kelce. Kelce has had his worst statistical season in pretty much his entire career, but I don't care. The story arc is there like always. Taylor Swift going to be in attendance. Who knows? Maybe a potential proposal after the game. I don't want to jinx anything, but you never know. But outside that, the fact that Travis Kelce's receiving over-under at 60.5 is just frankly disrespectful. Yes, Kelce had only 19 receiving yards against the Bills last week, But before then, he had racked up 14 straight playoff games with 70 or more receiving yards, including the Super Bowl against the Eagles when he had 81 yards and a score. I mean, it's just too easy to pick the over here based on my previous logic. The fact that when in doubt, Pat Mahomes is going to throw it to Travis Kelce. With that, I got 10 beignets on Travis Kelce over 60.5 receiving yards on the contest. With my last best bet, I wanted to go pick one with a little bit higher odds, maybe a little bit of a long shot, might say. How about the Triple Crown? Nope, not the horses. The Triple Crown is when you pick who will lead the game in passing, receiving, and rushing yards. For this one, I feel that two of them are kind of guaranteed. Pat Mahomes leads the game in passing. Saquon leads the game in rushing. Really, nobody's debating that. But then, who leads the game in receiving yards? I was debating between A.J. Brown, Travis Kelce for a while, and I just had to settle the debate based on the storylines of this game. I just think everyone is somehow overlooking Travis Kelce because of the underrated season that he had. Again, Taylor Swift in attendance. Kelce always performs well on the biggest stage. Plus, again, the Eagles are going to run the ball way more than the Chiefs would make it harder for A.J. Brown to beat out Travis Kelce. So give me the Triple Crown of Mahomes, Kelce, and Barkley at plus 600 for 10 crawfish. I mean, that's just great odds. Crawfish, a NOLA special. Speaking of crawfish, someone who I know has been absolutely downing them all week in New Orleans. Andrew Selver, what you got for this game?
Hey Jordan, I'll tell you one thing. I've certainly hit the over in number of crawfish eaten this week here in New Orleans, but let's go ahead and get you right to my long shot prop of Super Bowl 59. I'm going with the automatic Eagles running back, Saquon Barkley. He's been the best running back in the league all season long. I think he'll come up to play in the big game. I go Saquon 25 plus rushing yards in all 4 quarters this weekend. We'll get that at plus 750. Back to you, Jordan.
You know, Andrew, I was pretty nervous giving you $5, but I like that Saquon pick out of you, Andy. He's just money on the ground all game long in each quarter, just like you just said. Now it's time for my parlay, though. Andrew just went Saquon on the ground, but to start my 3-leg parlay, I got Jalen Hurts on the ground over 36.5 rushing yards on the game. Listen to me here. Hurts has averaged around 35 rushing yards per contest on the season, but has stepped it up especially in close games down the stretch, which I think this game will end up being. Against the Rams in the NFC divisional round, Hurts ran for 70 yards, and if you flash back 2 years, Hurts ran for 70 yards as well against the Chiefs in Super Bowl 57. I think the Eagles utilize Hurts' legs, especially since it's an all-or-nothing game. I got Hurts over 36.5 rushing yards for my first leg. Now to my second leg, I go back to the Chiefs and Juju Smith-Schuster. I have Juju over 25 receiving yards in the game. 1, because that number is just so low. Come on, Juju's a good wide receiver. 2, he racked up 60 receiving yards last week against the Bills. And then if you go back to Super Bowl 57 again, 53 yards against the Eagles. So why not Juju again? Plus, the odds are great. Plus 165. You can't get anything better than that for the second leg of the parlay. Lastly, I go to the kickers, because who doesn't love kickers? I mean, I just love kickers. I got Harrison Butker over 7.5 points. Butker has gone over that number 8 times this season, and if you think about it, it can work in a low-scoring and high-scoring game. If it's a low-scoring game with field goals, he needs 2 field goals, a couple extra points. If it's a high-scoring game, a couple touchdowns and a field goal. Plus, the last 3 years of Super Bowl runs for the Chiefs, Butker has been money. He's only missed 1 field goal or extra point. Accuracy is key with kickers and points. All that put together, though, Hurts over 36.5 rushing yards, Juju Smith-Schuster 25 plus receiving yards, Harrison Butker over 7.5 points at plus 850 for $15 to win potentially $127 and change. That's my parlay. And one other lay, we send it back to NOLA with Ian Nicholas. Ian, what you got?
What's up, Jordan? I'm here from the NFL's fan experience. Already a better backdrop than Andrew's. By the way, his long shot, Saquon, 25 plus rushing yards every quarter. Who would have thought of that one? The guy only had 2,000 yards on the season. I'm gonna be a little more risky. Here's my 4-leg parlay. Halftime show, coin toss, national anthem, Gatorade color. No, I'm just messing with you. I can't even make those novelty props in the state of Louisiana. Maybe they think I got some inside information. I wish I did. Then I wouldn't be wearing this quarter zip. I'd be wearing some Gucci. I'd be wearing some Versace. You came to me, though, because I'm a real guy. I'm a ball knower. I'm the OG ball knower. I'm going to tell you about the props you should bet on in the game. My parlay is 3 legs. We keep it simple, stupid, and we start with Jalen Hurts. He is going to fall in the end zone first. First touchdown scorer is QB1 for Philadelphia. I'm usually not a first touchdown guy, but this one feels too good to be true. He's got double-digit rushing touchdowns in every single season as a starter. The Eagles have a QB sneak play so good in the tush push that people want it banned from the sport. Not just the Eagles doing it, everybody doing it. Because Jalen Hurts and that offensive line have magic. And if they get in a goal-to-go situation and they have the ball first, it's gonna be Jalen Hurts who scores the touchdown. For the second leg of my parlay, I have another touchdown scorer. In this one, if you do the math, is also too good to be true. Kareem Hunt, running back for Kansas City, he is going to score at some point in the game. Here's Ian's fun fact of the show. Kareem Hunt has scored a touchdown in every playoff game of his career. And in his second act with Kansas City, he's going to go into the end zone again. Sorry, Jordan, I didn't pick your Rutgers Scarlet Knight, Isaiah Pacheco. I picked Kareem Hunt to fall in the end zone. The third and final leg of my parlay. This game, you remember that last game, Super Bowl 57, between the Chiefs and Eagles. It was a shootout, 38-35. But I'm going to go with the unsexy choice here. 48.5 points. I'm taking the under in this one. This is going to be a defensive slugfest. Vic Fangio on the defensive side for Philly. Steve Spagnuolo, the great, on the other sideline for Kansas City. These are the 2 best defensive minds in the NFL. I think this is going to be a chess match between those two. The final score will be in the high teens, low 20s. Take the under. Your friends are going to tell you to take the over. Your brain, your heart, one of those is going to tell you to take the over. Ian Nicholas is telling you to take the under. So again, the 3 legs of my parlay. Jalen Hurts first touchdown, Kareem Hunt anytime touchdown, and then the under on the game. You put $5 on that, you'll win over 240. The odds are just under plus 5,000. But after listening to me, that's just free money. Money, cash, Jordan, Leonard. Who's winning this game?
Why, thank you, Ian. As many of you know, my middle name might as well be Money and Cash because I'm Money and Cash. Before I get to my pick of the game, though, Ian, you're trying to skip it over here. Well, I want to pick the total points for this game. Ian was hitting the under, but I'm sorry, buddy. Your parlay is going to die there. I got to hit the over 48.5 points. These 2 offenses have been unstoppable this season. In their respective championship games, the Eagles scored 55 and the Chiefs 32. You go to the divisional round, Eagles 28, Chiefs 23. That would hit the over as well. And, you know, again, like I've been doing all show, back to the last Super Bowl between these 2 teams, the over hit easily in what was a barn burner. I think the offenses have a great day. Yes, the defenses are good. The offenses are going to be better. Therefore, I have the over of 48.5 for $10 right there. I got $10 left to spend, and that brings me to the overall pick for this game. Lastly, I got to go to the game itself. I've been thinking about this all week because I think you can go either way with this matchup. You have the Chiefs seeking the three-peat, the Eagles' revenge tour, but when you look up and down these rosters, Philadelphia's 100% better. Kansas City might have a better quarterback, but Philly on defense, offense, special teams, just overall better. Their fans are nutso for them. Saquon Barkley has the best story arc you could have pretty much the entire season, finishing it off with potentially a Super Bowl MVP, which I would love. It would drive Giants fans absolutely nuts. I mean, that would be absolute cinema. Who would script it any better? Give me the Eagles on the money line because the spread's a little bit too close. Money line at plus 102 for $10 to win Super Bowl 59. Be careful on those polls, Philly fans. I know they do try to climb those a little bit. Let's see what the C-suite has to say about this one. They're going with me with the Eagles. Griffin Bloomstein is not necessarily an Eagles fan. Adam Hickey, not an Eagles fan, but they're riding the Eagles on the money line. And then you look at the spread, the over-under, excuse me. They're going under. They're agreeing with Ian. I don't know about that, but Hopefully I go 2-0. Hopefully they go 1-1. I know they've been off to a good start so far this season. Now it's time to recap my picks, though. Let's see all of my best bets, including Andrew and Ian as well. We got the coin toss as tails for $5. Gotta love when you bring experimental probability into it. Saquon Barkley, 2+ touchdowns. A.J. Brown, anytime score. Got Eagles scoring a lot of TDs in this game, hence why I picked the over. Drew Tranquill, over 7.5 tackles. Travis Kelce, over a disrespectful 60.5 receiving yards. That's an easy one right there. The Triple Crown, Pat Mahomes, Barkley, and Kelce to lead the game in passing yards, rushing yards, and receiving yards. You got my same game parlay. Jalen Hurts over 36.5 rushing yards. Juju Smith-Schuster 25+ receiving yards. Harrison Butker over 7.5 kicking points. You can't beat it right there. To the game itself, I got the over, 48.5 points. And then, of course, Eagles money line. The revenge tour comes to fruition today. You got Andrew and Ian from NOLA. Andrew with Saquon Barkley, 25+ rushing yards in each quarter. And then Ian with an absolute insane parlay. That might not hit because I don't know if the under's going to hit right there. That about does it, though, for our Super Bowl edition of Beat the Bookie, one of the funnest shows to do all season long. Hopefully everyone's got the snacks prepared. I know I got my friend Tyler Aiken bringing over some buffalo chicken dip. Enjoy the snacks, enjoy a great rematch in the Super Bowl, and enjoy Super Bowl 59.